Hey guys, welcome back to the 12th episode of the Monday Morning Show. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the CTE Allied Health Program will be coming to show an informative mental health project with us. Now to our weather boy, Chris.
Hello, it's me, your weather boy Christian. The weather for this week is a little cloudy. Monday 83, Tuesday 82, Wednesday 73, Thursday 73, and Friday 71. Back to you, Athena.
Thanks, Chris. Now let's welcome Dulce from the Allied Health Program. Hi, nice to meet you. So thank you for coming on. Would you like to tell us a bit about your project?
So our project is about mental health, in which we will be addressing depression, stress and anxiety, and trauma with you guys.
Okay. Why do you think talking about mental health is important?
Talking about mental health is important because it gets students to be more aware of these issues, and it also helps other students who are going through these issues by themselves. And so when they're over here learning about mental health, it helps basically the community with everything that's going on in their life.
I agree. So, what's the impact that you want this project to have on students?
So the impact we're hoping for is that students will address that these issues have been going on with them, or that they see that these issues are going on with another student, and they will encourage that student to get some help, either by talking to a counselor or by talking to someone they trust.
Yeah, all right. Well, what are some resources that people could look at for help with their mental health?
So there are quite a few resources. There are some mental health lines where you could talk to someone over the phone. There are therapists who will literally have scheduled appointments with that person to talk with them about anything that's going on in their life. It's not exactly going to be a stress environment. It's just going to be an environment where they can talk about whatever they want. The therapist will listen. And then there's also guidance counselors or school counselors who will do the same, or a trusted teacher who would do the same.
All right. So why do you think some kids aren't comfortable using the resources available to talk about their mental health?
Some students can have either past experiences where they tried talking about it with someone and that someone completely shut it down, or they were not addressing that student's feelings. There could also be other situations where they're just not comfortable enough with that person to talk about it.
Do you think that school can affect kids' mental health?
School can actually be more affecting towards a student's mental health than some home life, because within a school, students will experience peer pressure, either anxiety from different things that they're supposed to be doing within the school, or they're experiencing stress from other people who are like, hey, why don't you do this or something like that. So it could play a big factor into a student's mental health, where it's they're the ones putting pressure on the student, and it gets to the point where the student just experiences a bunch of issues with their health, and they're just not okay at the moment with everything that's going on.
Yeah. Do you think the school itself provides resources for students' mental health? And if so, do you think they're good resources?
So the school does provide resources, like their own personal counselors. They do have another person here. I forgot their name, but they do work here, and they do set aside time for other students. And there's also the librarian, where if you guys don't feel comfortable talking to your counselor or anything like that, there is always another trustworthy adult, like the librarian, to talk to about your issues, where they will get you resources where you could find help. And if you don't want those resources, they will respect your wishes and will still like try to help you, but like the way you want them to.
Do you think some kids will, do drugs or act out because of their mental health?
So some students their mental health will be deteriorated to the point where they feel as though doing these bad habits will basically help them ease their mind, in which, yes, they do have some chemical in them, like nicotine, that makes it like more relieving to the student, but it's not exactly something that a student should be doing or should rely on, as it will cause more issues later on. But it does help the student relieve their stress, although it's not a good thing at the same time.
Yeah. So with these being not necessarily resources, but like ways for them to cope with their mental health almost, do you think some kids will like lie about their mental health so they don't have to seek like professional help, and they could do things like drugs and just acting out or anything like that?
So some kids could possibly do that, but it's not like they're going to be doing these bad behaviors themselves. It's more like if they lie about it, they don't feel comfortable enough for it to be out there and for it to be like addressed by someone, or they feel that if they talk about it, then they won't be acknowledged about their mental health, and that'll lead to more issues later on. And so with that in mind, where they will lie about it, I think it's not about them more being able to do bad behaviors using their mental health as an excuse. Because if it was like that, then they would, of course, put it out there. It's more like they don't feel comfortable enough to the point where they will put their mental health out there and risk the chance of it being shot down or them having a bad experience because that person they trusted with this information does not respect the information being told to them and actually breaks that person's trust. And so they're like, okay, well, this happened to me once, it's gonna happen again, so I'm not gonna get it involved with other people. So I'm just gonna lie about it so they don't do that again, because that was a bad experience for me.
Yeah. So some kids who have trust issues and have been betrayed before, obviously it might be hard for them to open up. So how do you think something would make it easier for them to open up? Like, what would make it easier for them to open up to new resources?
So it would be easier for that student, it'd be easier for that student to develop a relationship with that person. And later on throughout that relationship, they will be able to set their boundaries and express what they're comfortable with, what they're not comfortable with. And at that point, that person would know what they should and should not do. And so with those boundaries in mind, and with knowing how the student is, their behavior and all of that, with those boundaries in place, it really helps the student, because this person can't go around talking about this because those boundaries were set in stone and they know that person's feelings about that. So they can't just go around doing a bunch of other stuff where they would put that student's mental health at risk, because they know that person's boundary now. They're not going to break it. They're not going to disrespect it or anything like that, because if they do, that student won't be able to open up to them, and they will know not to open up to them because they didn't respect their boundaries.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming on to the show and talking about mental health awareness with us. It was a very nice time.
Yeah. Of course, I'm blowing. I'll see you around.
Thank you for coming on and talking about mental health awareness. We are coming close to the end of the school year. Teachers, if you want to announce something, please go to our website and scan the QR code right here. Like always, have a good week.